Deep in the Flinders Ranges, we're heading to a place that's literally radioactive. What makes the Paralana Hot Springs so rare that it was once scouted as a source of uranium for the atomic bomb? How do radioactive gases bubbling beneath the earth shape this remote pocket of the Flinders? As we climb ridgelines and chase views that stretch for miles, we'll find out why this place is as breathtaking as it is mysterious.
The big day today, we haven't covered a lot of ground and there's certainly plenty more to see. So we're going to try and whip ourselves through the rest of this back track here at Arkaroola, then get out onto the plains and shoot up to the hot springs.
And now we're getting into some good old rocky stuff.
Not that bad.
Half decent ascent coming up here, so grab your gear early. Second low works pretty good.
As someone who's never tackled four-wheel drive tracks in the past, I wouldn't be scared of your experience level and keeping that holding you back from everything that Flinders Ranges has to offer. If I can do it, anyone can do it.
A lovely little lunch spot, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was a great little gorge for a lunch spot. Perfect. Be a nice camping spot too, as long as it didn't flood, but apparently it doesn't flood very often here, which is a good thing.
One of the better ascents coming up ahead is in pretty good nick, but if you've got a centre block, maybe use that.
This was the last climb before we would be entering what is known as the Wooltana Volcanics.
Low range, slow fall driving and a scenery like this, exactly what I love. In an area like this, we're a convoy of 7 or 8 vehicles, I think. And even then, we just felt tiny. We're just like a little line of ants traversing this hill.
We've got an awesome little spot right here in front of us now. The Arkaroola car's stuck. Should have let those tyres down a bit more, James. Come back and a little bit more left hand as you go up, you'll be fine. All right, mighty Arbeco. This is a steep little one.
Now we've got the boys from Highclere in the Defender. No issues. Dave comes through in the My Coolman tank and then makes way for the rookie.
Jess has just worked her way to the top of that little bit of a hill and she's done an amazing job.
We're about to hit it now. Nice little few step-ups on here. First low, and we're just going to flex these airbags out. A little bump up on that step and we're up. Drove it really well.
Deb's up next, and can someone get me some icing for that hill? Because she made it look like a piece of cake. Now Black Duck's gonna give it a quack.
Just gonna go up nice and slow, low range, and just let it work its way up. That's another example of why you want to have your tyres aired down. That bit of extra traction and that, nice and easy.
So off the Echo Cam backtrack, now we punch northward.
The benefit of the rain is you get these moody dark clouds coming over and it changes the feel of the place.
It just made you realise how small we are and how awesome Australia is and how much there is to see out here.
The Paralana Hot Springs we're heading to sit above massive uranium deposits that heat the water rising to the surface. But for a brief moment in history, this natural wonder was almost tapped for something far more destructive.
The uranium minerals were discovered in 1910, so it was known that we had radium here. In the 1940s, my dad came up to set up uranium exploration and mining for the government, not knowing that was supposed to be for atomic bombs. It turns out none of it was used from this area in the atomic bombs. And so there's now a uranium mine just out of Arkaroola, but it's not digging, it's uranium washes out of Arkaroola and has been for the last 40 to 60 million years.
James, is there much in the way of fossils in this area, or is it predate sort of life?
A fair question. Almost everything out here is what we call pre-Cambrian. The Cambrian explosion around 520 million years or so was when things started getting eyes and tails, locomotion and hard bits. This is all much, much older. Even this limestone, 700 million or so, pre-even Red Sprig's Ediacaran period. So there's limestone reefs, what we call archaea, but no discernible vertebrates or anything like that. So we're approaching the hot springs now, last few kilometres. Dead ahead of us is the Mawson Plateau, a massive granite boulder field. But on our 9 o'clock is where we'll be terminating our ridgetop tour tomorrow.
Uranium Hot Springs today and ridgetop driving tomorrow. This place is incredible.
We were really lucky at Arkaroola. We had a local guide, James, and he really was absolutely passionate about this particular area.
On the right side, we get a bit of a sniff of what we've been driving so far to see. Gungwan Creek, so there's density, pretty hen's teethy out here. The source of that is a rather permanent water we're soon to see, Paralana.
We went pretty far off the beaten track to find the Paralana Hot Springs. It's one of the only remaining radioactive hot springs in the world.
I got to admit, when they said hot springs, here we are in the middle of the Flinders Ranges, I was immediately curious. I wasn't sure if it was some quirky Australian thing where we've called it hot and it's actually freezing cold.
It's actually a really unique place. I've never known anything like that even existed here in our own backyard. To see it and actually put your hand over it and see the steam coming off the water, it was pretty cool.
Not recommended, and I wouldn't do it. You can't swim in it, you can't drink it, and you can touch it for a small amount of time.
Those hot springs are radiogenically heated. They're heated by nuclear decay. The Mawson Plateau granites, which are just to the north, about 700 or 800 metres above the hot springs. The water lands on that and percolates down through these granites that have got 10 or 12 times as much uranium as the average granites, and that heats the water.
I've got a little thermal imaging camera. It was just awesome to see. So it's obviously just picking up the heat temperature. So obviously the bright yellow is the hottest part, and then it goes down out to the blues. So the yellow is saying it's 34.2 degrees.
That's pretty crazy. What do you got that here for?
I always carry a thermal imager, doesn't everybody?
It was pretty hot, but it also had this algae on top. It was across the entire layer of the surface, which James had shared with us had actually evolved to self-repair as the radioactive materials would break it down, which was really cool to learn, really unique to see something like that.
Just shrouded by so much wilderness, just a whole nother dynamic to the landscape.
Now, it's been a number of years since I've been here, and in that time that has already changed. So don't miss out, guys. Make the beeline, get out here to Arkaroola and see it for yourself. This is a once-in-a-lifetime experience, third time for me, but you should get out here at least once in your lifetime.
What happens if you drink it?
If you drink it, well, you'll get radon gas in the water. It's a breakdown product of uranium and quite highly radioactive.
Wasn't real keen on going for a swim. Don't want to be turning into the Incredible Hulk.
Because of the filming and the loss of the drone, it was a fairly long day, so we've pushed our way back. Getting a chance to go back over it again, you're seeing stuff that you missed. And there's a couple of really nice parts where it is absolutely scenic.
We're now approaching the end of the day where the sun just hits one side of the mountain. It's just absolutely stunning. Different scenery in every corner. You'll see flat plains on one side and then you'll see all the hills on the other.
We are getting ready to pull back into Arkaroola village just as the sun is setting, so perfect timing. Almost in time for dinner. We've had a pretty brilliant day.
Arrived back at the station, it was dark. We've been at the tracks now a long time, so everybody was quite keen to have a beer. Another awesome dinner supplied by the station.
Really, really friendly people. I had a great time there. The food at Arkaroola was sensational.
It was my first day putting a four-wheel drive into low range, so I feel like I can officially say I'm part of the four-wheel drive club now. Will you have me?
All we were looking forward to was the next day, the ridgetop tour. Absolutely couldn't wait for that, just thinking about where we were going to head.
think we all went to bed with our fingers crossed, hoping for clear skies and a bit of a nicer day. To wait and see what the next day brings.
Day 3. Woke up again at Arkaroola after a great night's sleep. Down for breakfast, coffee, of course.
Finally, the day to do the Ridgetop tour. We were all very excited. We'd heard great things.
We got absolutely magnificent blue skies. So all the clouds from the last couple of days of light rain have gone. We're looking like about to head off and do the ridge. And I'm so excited. It is going to be fantastic.
So we headed on out pretty early and made our way toward the Ridgetop tour experience.
We are very lucky to be with Simon Christie, and with his popularity, the guys here at Arkaroola are enabling us to drive our own four-wheel drives. Usually you'd have to come here and you'd jump on the back of their vehicles, but they're allowing us to do the tracks ourselves.
James and a second person came along by the name of Cameron. One was at the front, one was at the rear to ensure that we were safe throughout the entire journey. This was a pretty special tour.
Potentially a once-in-a-lifetime thing for us driving our own vehicles.
We headed out along the same track as we did yesterday, however a couple of different turns and we were at a different gate. So we unlocked this gate and went straight through.
Convoy stepping into low range.
Always love it when Simon says, I'm dropping it into low range. You go, oh, game on now. The excitement begins.
Now, the first part of it was just to get to the first lookout, and that had some really steep pinches and a couple of really nice sort of tight hairpins.
It was so obvious that it was going to be different from yesterday's experience. Yesterday was a lot of up and downs and through the gullies. Today was very much just a straight incline to get to the top of that ridge.
Christian, enjoy that?
Yes, absolutely. More, please.
The views were absolutely incredible already, and we knew they were only going to get better as we kept climbing higher and higher.
There's so much to see in Australia. We've got a tremendous amount of diversity. Sometimes there's the tyranny of distance, a long way to go to see it, but you get it to yourself. You can have places that can have the solace of your own time, and there's few places in the world that have that, and Australians should be proud of that and really savour it.
We came to the first sort of lookout and the views, it was amazing. The sheer scope and size of the place was just mind-boggling. This isn't even the peak yet. This is only the first one. I was kind of struggling to grasp the concept of the next ones were going to be higher and bigger and better. It just built the excitement to carry on.
Welcome. We've done the easy part. From here we punch northward, further elevation change, and we're going to be...
At the lookout, we all got a team briefing from James, going through what the rules were, how we were going to travel in the convoy. He was going to call the trickier parts and give us advice on the best lines to take. It was really important that everybody followed exactly the same line.
It's a mix of a bit of rocky stuff and some gravelly bits. There'll be clear tram tracks to follow for the most part. Do what the vehicle in front does unless you know better. I'm preaching to the choir here, but yeah, it should be good fun, but just beware.
So at that point, all we'd really done is a couple of basic inclines. From here, it does get a little bit more curly. You really got to pick your line.
There was a couple of really tricky spots too, some sharp rocks, and we were a bit worried about the low profile tyres on the Defender. Now, with the advice of Simon and the gang, we've decided to leave the Defender, and then we jumped in with Jess, the professional four-wheel driver.
I have the Highclere guys with me now in my car. I think they just wanted to see my driving firsthand. And they brought their esky too though, so I'm pretty happy about that. Snacks for the road.
David, how's the ride in the Hilux?
Yeah, all good in the Hilux. It's kind of hard to concentrate on the driving and want to look at this view as well. I'm wrapped that I'm not driving.
Lucky I'm doing the driving then.
It's way up into the distance up to the right there, Jess, and that bigger, tall mountain in the foreground to our right, we're actually going past that. So we've still got to get to that and then further beyond that to our destination for the day.
We've seen some incredible views so far, and I can't even imagine when we get to the other side and up higher what we'll be able to see. It's going to be breathtaking.
It seemed like each time we went up quite a steep, we were then coming down again. Obviously, we're working our way over these ranges as they're growing, which was great fun.
Duck down steep into a valley. We've got a couple of little dry creek bed crossings with the embankments. So a few steep sections there, just had to watch out as you went through, then climb back up out of it. And we're basically heading to this other ridgeline on the other side.
Stephen, the Jeep's an absolute weapon off-road. You guys obviously fixed this one up with a fair bit of suspension tuning.
We've locked it in service mode, so it's actually acting like a set of coil springs instead of a compressor pumping air into each one and having to work around a bit.
Well, that's just a nice cruisy mode for terrain like this.
It is actually, and the air suspension is just eating up these rocks. Just watching the steering wheel as Steve's driving the car, and there's hardly any movement in the wheel whatsoever, so it's just doing so well.
All the way along, it was just a godsend to have James guiding us, helping us pick the lines. He was leading the convoy. He'd describe exactly what you're going to hit. You've got to take this line, you've got to put your wheels on that boulder or whatever, and everyone sort of followed that line.
He gave us a running commentary on anything from the wildlife, the flora, the mountain geology, the history of the place.
Basically, more recently, a weak point in the crust allowed magma to push up through it, and that has eroded at a different rate to the surrounding rocks, depending on the chemistry, how fractured it is.
Just basically following James's route and following what he says, and if it's to take it slower, go slower. If we're able to gun it up as well, just protecting the land around us and as well the car.
We're over on this hill's again, second gear low. Go as you will, but pretty stable. Enjoy it.
It was just a fantastic tour, getting that over the radio, and an awesome drive.
It's a massive amount of rock, James. It's like, seriously, not a lot of dirt, but a whole lot of rock.
Talking the track or the mountain, mate?
Both. It's just amazing that people came out here and mined. How the hell would they work through these rocky conditions?
Pickaxe, bulldozer and dynamite in that order. Not much to make a track out of, but they found a way.
There was a point where we come up, it's quite steep, you make a sharp turn. Obviously when you're doing that and the vehicle's pointing upwards and you're trying to go that way, vision is quite limited. So again, being able to follow the line of the other vehicle, they called out a couple of warnings, there was a few washouts and gullies.
Every turn just opened up a new valley and a new vista of the ranges. All over the radio, all you kept on hearing was, oh my God, wow, look left, look right, look up.
Pretty diverse landscape. The scenery speaks for itself.
We kept on thinking, this just can't get any better than this, can it, surely?
But you won't believe what we found next.
We were driving along a spine.
The whole valley around you.
You go off the trail, your car will just bye-bye.
And then you're just winding yourself up and down over the ridges, and every time you come around a corner...
Wow! I love it, I love it, I love it.
Crazy cool.
I've never seen anything like this.
If you're scared of heights, it might be a little bit freaky for you.
So I'm guessing you don't drink the water.
One like equals one prayer. And click here for more Flinders Ranges content.